Hello, hello. I am Alara Sage, the Oracle of Wealth, and I really help visionary entrepreneurs to embody and create the masterpiece of their wealth, of their business. This is deep creation and next level wealth. Today, I want to talk about the three primary issues of why it appears that your intuition fails you or led you astray, so to speak. So, number one is really the most important and the most profound, and that is expectation. The thing is usually intuition is really vague. It may say, create this event or go to the park or do this. It doesn't give on the majority of occasions. There are times that it gives a lot of detail, but on the majority of occasions, intuition is vague. That's because it is a stepping stone. It's not meant to give a full roadmap. And what happens when we have an intuitive hit, this stepping stone, is our mind comes in and fills in all of the empty space. Our mind fills in with what is that going to look like? How is it going to show up? When is it going to show up? And, you may have experienced this, for instance, if you plan a trip. You may have experience where your mind naturally starts to create images of what that trip is going to look like. That is expectation. And when our mind does this, what happens is it takes the field of pure potentiality, where this specific intuition is creating this intuitive hit, this stepping stone, is creating a very precise vibrational signature that is informing the field in quantum mechanics of pure potentiality. Okay. Now, when your mind fills in all the blanks, you've taken that field and you've collapsed it down to that one potential, that it is going to show up as that, when as that, how as that, all of the things. Now, this is where we put a kink in magic, because the truth is that very well may not be what is trying to occur in the co-creation between you, your higher self, your soul, and source itself. So when we do that and we collapse down the field of potentiality, now the real thing that was trying to occur through this intuitive hit, through this stepping stone, has been blocked, because you're not holding the capacity for it to be created. Now, oftentimes it can still be created, all of the things, but this is the number one cause of our intuition appearing to not be correct, is expectation. So understanding that intuition is exactly what it says, nothing more. And can you take action on that intuitive hit without expectation? That's where you're going to start to really experience the magic. The second major cause of our intuition seeming to lead us wrong kind of is along the lines of expectation, but it's a lot of times the belief that people have that intuition should just lead you down the road of rainbows and butterflies, that wherever your intuition takes you, it should flow. It should be easeful. And while there is some truth to that, it's really important to understand that oftentimes your intuition will lead you straight into the fire, because it is that fire that is going to burn away your limitation, that is going to cause an initiation, a catalyst within you that is going to shift yourself to whatever it is that you're trying to create. So when people say, oh, I followed my intuition and then this happened and it led me down the wrong path, that is not necessarily true. It just wasn't the path that they expected in the context of it was maybe more challenging, or as they took that step, that stepping stone, that intuitive hit, quote unquote, negative things happened. And our concept is that doesn't mean that that's not intuition, right? That it can't therefore be intuition. And either your intuition was wrong or you misread it. And this is understanding that your intuition will take you exactly where you need to go per what you are choosing to create, your desires. Okay. And sometimes we are led the short, fast, hard way. Other times we are led the more easeful way. The trick is always in the ability to really listen, not just to that first intuitive hit, but the process as you take that action. What do you feel in your body? What is the conversation that is happening between you and your physical reality? Because there is always a very impressive conversation happening there. But if you're not listening, then, well, you're not listening. And it's a one-sided conversation, and you're missing all of the information that is there to inform you of, if you are experiencing challenges, why are you experiencing challenges? What are you learning? What are you gaining from those experiences that you are actually at a soul level desiring to experience? And once again, intuition led you directly there, because on the other side of these challenges is what you desire to create. And understanding this, and that it's not just you take one step and then all the magic happens. It's a process. It's a communion with creation. You are the creator, and you are communing with the creator as source, spirit, God, whatever you like to call it. The third is trust. And this is huge because, well, we haven't been taught to trust our intuition. And oftentimes we actually do the opposite. When we hear something externally of ourselves, whether it comes from, science-backed theory, or it comes from other people, or it comes from a mentor or somebody that we respect very much, we can give our power away by listening to that, believing in that over our own intuition. And your intuition is always the highest level of wisdom that exists for you, because it is unique to you. Nobody is actually as tapped in to you at a human level, at a higher self level, at a soul level, and all the things that you're trying to experience than your own intuition, your own inner wisdom. So learning how to trust that is enormous. And we just haven't practiced this enough to trust it. So often what I see people do is they start to take action on their intuition, and then challenges arise, like I previously said, or they hold expectation and it doesn't show up that way, and they immediately back out, or they take a different route because clearly that was all wrong, right? Clearly that wasn't the right step. Clearly, whatever it is. And this is all rooted in distrust. Because if you really deeply trust your intuition, you will be fully devoted to where it takes you, no matter what. And yes, this requires a level of clarity between you and your intuition. And people always ask me, how do I increase my intuition? How do I increase that clarity? How is you trust it, and you take action on it, and you keep doing that over and over and over again. Because just like everything, it's a relationship. And if you imagine, let's say you have a friend, and your friend is always asking you for advice, and then when you give it, your friend just brushes you off and doesn't listen to you. After a while, you're going to stop giving advice, because honestly, it's just not going anywhere. That's what happens with you and yourself, you being your higher self, your inner wisdom, and you being your human self. If you're not listening to your intuition, or you kind of listen to it, but most of the time distrust it, there is a dysfunctional relationship there. So to build that trust, you have to communicate with it, understand it, have a relationship with it, and show up for it. Meaning that when you say you're going to listen, you listen. The truth is, we put so much energy on making the right choice, taking the right action, but all actions will lead you ultimately where you want to go. Some of them are just a lot more uncomfortable than others, which, I understand, right? We don't necessarily want to go the most challenging route if we don't have to. But when we put so much pressure on taking the right action, we're constantly in this state of like, is this the right action? Is this the right action? Is this in alignment? Is this right? What if all of it is in alignment? And what if you just let go of needing to have that certainty, and you just own the certainty of, that was the intuitive hit. That is your certainty. You take action and you let it unfold for yourself. And you are along for the ride, and you experience your life and you learn from it. That's really where the depth of all of this comes from. So understanding that these three ways that we really shut down intuition or veer off what the intuitive hit actually was, and therefore it appears that our intuition was wrong or it led us astray, when the truth is your intuition is always spot on. It will always lead you where you're trying to go. But again, that may not always look like what your mind says it should look like or what your ego wants it to look like. So our job is to have that connection with our intuition, listen to it, take action with absolute faith and devotion, and let go of expectations and go for the ride. I get an image of being in a raft and going down that river. Sometimes it's very calm, other times there's rapids, but you're in the flow of the river and you're in that experience no matter what's showing up. Yeah, you have to navigate it. Absolutely. That's life. But that's where all the great lessons are. Because when you flip your raft, then you learn, how do I not flip my raft? Because that was really cold and it wasn't very enjoyable. So I hope this has helped you understand your relationship to your intuition more. And really, it's a relationship with yourself and that deep trust while you let go of expectation. Much love.